going on, guys? It's your boy Dom Kemp, and welcome back to another podcast. This time we're going over some soccer things, guys. Soccer things, football things, aka soccer in the American way. Yes, guys, it is top soccer, so it should be interesting. Let's jump straight into it. Today was transfer deadline day, guys, so that does mean that January 31st is transfer deadline day, and understandably so, because it's the final day of January. And let me let you guys know about all the transfers that end up happening. So we look at the notable January transfers. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund went to Arsenal. Alexis Sanchez from Arsenal to Manchester United. Aymeric Laporte from Athletic Bilbao to Man City. Hendrik Mkhitaryan to Arsenal from Manchester United. Van Dijk from Southampton to Liverpool. Daniel Sturridge from Liverpool to West Brom, and Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool to Barcelona. Then Olivier Giroud from Arsenal to Chelsea, and then Batshuayi went to Borussia Dortmund. Pretty interesting transfers there, guys, and the biggest one, in my opinion, has to be the Alexis Sanchez one going to Manchester United, which is really exciting to see. Moving on, though, guys, we're going to be jumping into a couple of news reports that ended up going on throughout the transfer deadline day, and the fastest goals in World Cup, Champions League, and Premier League, with Christian Eriksen scoring in 11 seconds after kickoff. Pretty insane. Christian Eriksen, 11-second strike for Tottenham against Manchester United on Wednesday, was the third fastest goal in Premier League history. But who else has scored one of the quickest goals of all time? In 8.1 seconds, Christian Benteke in Belgium, 6-0 versus Gibraltar, World Cup qualifier 2017. Belgium striker Benteke registered the fastest international goal of all time with his 8.1 second effort, and it was even more impressive because Gibraltar started with the ball in the center circle. The host, playing in Portugal because their stadium does not meet FIFA standards, played the ball backwards from kickoff to Jamie Bosio, who then tried to pass across to a teammate, but Benteke intercepted the pass and ran into the box before putting a shot past goalkeeper Adeniran Ibrahim. 8.3 seconds. Davide Goletetti, San Marino, 1-7 in England World Cup qualifier. San Marino, buoyed by their 0-0 draw with Turkey earlier in 1993, scored only the third goal in their history in a World Cup qualifier against England in Bologna after just 8.3 seconds, assisted by a short pass from Stuart Pearce, the commuter clerk. Davide Golettetti's goal remains the fastest in World Cup qualification history and brought the team's all-time goal difference down to a more respectful -84. The visitors went on to win the game 7-1, but it was to be Graham Taylor's last as manager. England had needed to win by a 7-goal margin and for Poland to do them a favor against the Netherlands, and as neither happened. And England finished third in the group. And I quote, "I'm probably more famous in Scotland," Goletetti told the London Evening Standard in 2003 when asked about his status in his homeland. And I quote, "In 1995, we played the Scots here and there. Fans came wearing t-shirts which said, Goletetti, 8 seconds. I was in the Halloween pub in town when some of them found out who I was. They bought me drinks all night and wouldn't let me leave." 9.9 seconds, Ledley King, Tottenham Hotspur to 3-3, Bradford City, Premier League 2000. And King's first ever goal for Tottenham not only wrote him into the history books of his club, but also the Premier League. The future Spurs captain scored within 10 seconds of the 6-goal thriller at Valley Parade to register the competition's fastest goal. The opener was rough justice on Bantam's as referee Neil Barry was forced to restart the game after a Tottenham player had encroached into the City half. When the whistle sounded to signal the beginning of the match for the second time, King found himself in acres of space to drill in a 25-yard shot, which deflected off the unfortunate Andy O'Brien and went in after just 9.9 seconds. The goal beat the previous record of 13 seconds set by both Chris Sutton and Dwight Yorke with Blackburn and Aston Villa in 1994 and 1995, respectively, and still stands today as the quickest English top-flight goal since the inception of the Premier League in 1992. 10.12 seconds, Roy Mackay, Bayern Munich 2-1, Real Madrid, Champions League 2007. Bayern Munich had their work cut out when they welcomed Real Madrid for the second leg of the Champions League round of 16 second leg clash after losing the first leg leg 3-2 at the Bernabeu. If there were any pre-match nerves, they didn't show when Roberto Carlos miscontrolled a pass back to him virtually from kickoff. Hassan Salihamidzic, oh my gosh, I have no idea to say that. Salihamidzic pounced on the left back's error and fed the ball through for Makai, who swept his first time finish past Iker Casillas after just 10.1 seconds for the competition's quickest ever goal. However, Bayern could not repeat their heroics in the next round when they were defeated by eventual winners AC Milan, for whom Paolo Maldini scored a first-minute opener in 2005 final that remains the quickest goal ever scored in a Champions League final. At 10.40 seconds, Alan Shearer, Newcastle 2-0, Manchester City, Premier League 2003. The Premier League's top goal scorer of all time as the second fastest goal ever in the Premier League when the Manchester City defense directed the ball back to goalkeeper Carlo Nash. Everything seemed fine. That is until the keeper slipped momentarily, giving Shearer a chance to close him down. That he did, and he slotted the opener to get the Magpies off to a flying start. And I quote, "I thought I'd give Carlo an early touch to help his confidence," explained Steve Howley, who made the back pass. Craig Bellamy made sure of the win to hand Kevin Keegan a bad return to St. James Park following his decision to walk out on the Tyneside club in January 1997. At 10.89 seconds, Hakan Şükür, South Korea, 2-3 Turkey World Cup Finals 2002. Şükür scored the fastest goals in the history of the World Cup Finals when he netted 10.89 seconds into the 2002 third-place playoff against South Korea. Şükür had arrived at the tournament amid high expectations, but that effort, which helped his side to a 3-2 win, was his only strike of the tournament. And I quote, "The goal was late in coming," he said after the game. Czechoslovakian's Václav Masek had previously held the record, netting just 15 seconds into a 3-1 defeat to Mexico at the 1962 tournament. So a lot of goal-scoring records right there, guys, and Christian Eriksen joins the fastest goals in club history. Moving on, Spurs versus Manchester United set Prem record, okay? Prem attendance record. Oh, this is interesting. Let's talk about this. A Tottenham Hotspur's match against Manchester United at Wembley on Wednesday set a new Premier League attendance record. The attendance of 81,978 surpassed the previous record of 80,827 set when Spurs beat Liverpool 4-1 at the National Stadium in October. Before Spurs moved to Wembley, where they were spending a season while their new 61,500-seater stadium is being built, Manchester United held the record for over a decade after 76,000 watched their 4-1 win over Blackburn Rovers in March of 2007. Wednesday's Premier League record is still some way short of the Tottenham's club record of 85,512 set at Wembley against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League last season, which is also a record attendance for a British club at home. The National Stadium has a capacity of 90,000. Spurs unveiled €28 million deadline day, signing Lucas Moura at halftime when we're leading United 2-0 thanks to Christian Eriksen's goal after 11 seconds, the third fastest in Premier League history, and Phil Jones' own goal. The record Premier League stands at 84,569 when Manchester United played Arsenal at Main Road in 1948. So, guys, lots of records being broken today on January 31st, 2018. Now, transfer talk. Mahrez to boycott Leicester. This is the topic of discussion. Leicester City's Riyad Mahrez, guys, he wanted to be traded on transfer deadline day, and Leicester would not allow it to happen. Riyad Mahrez set to boycott Leicester after Man City's transfer fell. The January window is shut. Transfer Talk brings you updates on all the latest rumors and done deals. Mahrez threatened to never play for Leicester again. Riyad Mahrez is so distraught at being denied his dream move to Manchester City that he is ready to refuse to play for Leicester again, reports the Mirror. The Algerian international winger handed in a transfer request in the final 2 days of the window as City tabled several bids, the highest of which reached 60 million sterling. The Foxes rejected the offers, insisting that Philippe Coutinho's 142 million sterling move to Barcelona had changed the value of their star winger and that City would need to bid 95 million sterling. A proposal featuring a 65 million sterling offer and a player in exchange was floated by Leicester, but City knocked that back and walked away from a deal for the second time in the window, failing to meet the financial demands of both a player in Alexis Sanchez and now the selling club in Leicester. City to return for Fred? While City could revisit the Mahrez situation in the summer, one player who is highly likely to join Pep Guardiola for next season's Fred, claims the Mail. That's because Shakhtar Donetsk resisted an approach for their Brazilian international from City this month. The Ukrainian side were reluctant to part with their star midfielder due to their involvement in the Champions League knockout stages. The Sky Blues will return in the summer for the 24-year-old with a 45 million sterling deal likely to be pushed through then. Grêmio rejected Monaco approach for Arthur. Grêmio have knocked back Monaco's bid for star midfielder Arthur, reports the UOL Esporte, with Barcelona still in talks for the midfielder about a future move after the January window shuts. The Copa Libertadores, man, I probably butchered that, I apologize. Winners rejected the 14 million euro offer from the League One champions. Okay. Yes, okay. Yes, okay. My apologies about that. Grêmio are holding out for 30 million euros, 26.2 million sterling, to sell their 60% stake in the player's economic rights, which would value the player at 48 million euros, 42 million sterling. Further talks with Barcelona will take place in the coming days, with move in the summer to the Camp Nou seeming likely after images of the player wearing the Blaugrana shirt surfaced at the end of the last year. An Arsenal attempted low-ball offer for Johnny Evans, but Arsenal's window has been positive overall. Arsene Wenger failed to land a top-class defender to strengthen a vulnerable back line. The Gunners made an effort to bring Johnny Evans to the Emirates late in the day, but West Brom deemed their 12 million sterling offer to be derisory. The Baggies could lose the Northern Ireland international for just $3 million in the summer if they are relegated, though the addition of Daniel Sturridge on loan from Liverpool should help their task to survive. Toppins. Tottenham and Liverpool missed out on Kwang Song-han after the North Korean wonder kid returned to Cagliari from his loan at Perugia. Juventus were also linked with a move for the 19-year-old, but he will instead continue the development with the Rossoblu in Serie A after impressing in Serie B this term with 7 goals and 3 assists. Juventus signed Leandro, I think that's how you pronounce it, Fernandez, just in time before the window shut, reports Tutu Sports with the Dutch starlet. Joining from Jong PSV, the Dutch youth international has been set to the old lady with the help of his agent Mino Raiola, even though Massimiliano Allegri is unlikely to utilize the attacking midfielder often this season. The 18-year-old is clearly one for the future. Pretty interesting right there, guys. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about West Ham taking racism claims seriously. What is this about? Have not heard this, guys. So this is my first time reading it, and this is probably most of you guys' first time hearing it. West Ham taking racism claims against Tony Henry extremely serious. West Ham have launched an investigation into claims their director of recruitment, Tony Henry, told agents that they do not want to sign any more African players. According to the Daily Mail, Henry said the Premier League club wanted to limit the number of African players because, and I quote, they have a bad attitude and I quote again, cause mayhem when they are not in the team. Henry, it was claimed, suggested it was a policy supported by club management, but insisted West Ham had nothing against the African race at all. Press Association Sport saw the response from West Ham on Wednesday night without success. However, in a statement given to the Daily Mail, the club said, and I quote, West Ham United is an inclusive, respectful, and diverse football club. Equality is at the heart of our ethos and values. And I quote, we are recently given the opportunity to demonstrate the extent of our firm commitment to these values, which are embedded throughout the club, with a view to achieving the intermediate level of the Premier League's equality mark recognized and supported by Kick It Out. And I quote, we have worked extremely hard over the last 18 months across all areas of the club, and we are confident in our achievements. And I quote once again, all West Ham United employees are required to go on equality, diversity, and unconscious bias training as part of our new mandatory training and workforce plan. We take any allegations of discrimination extremely seriously and are now in the process of ascertaining the full facts behind this accusation. The newspaper reported that Henry sent an email on January 27th in response to an inquiry about a footballer of Cameroonian descent to another senior West Ham official and an agent. In the email, Henry allegedly wrote, we don't want any more Africans and he's not good enough. When asked by the Mail why that was the case, Henry reportedly highlighted problems with their former striker, Diafra Sakho, who left West Ham to join French club Rennes on Monday. And I quote, "We find that when Africans are not in the team, they cause mayhem. It's nothing against the African race at all," Henry told the Mail. I mean, look, there are top African players. There's not a problem with them. It's just sometimes they cause a lot of problems when they are not playing, as we had with Sakho Diafra. He's left so great, it's nothing personal at all. Asked then if he thought his comments amounted to a slight on African players, Henry apparently replied no, and praised the efforts of West Ham's Senegal midfielder Chikoya Kouyaté. Wow, okay. So there you have it there. Pretty interesting article right there, guys, about West Ham's management. Pretty interesting article right there, guys. Pretty interesting. But that is it, guys. That's all I have for you guys in this podcast this evening. It is January 31st, transfer deadline day. Those were the top transfers that I ended up mentioning to you at the beginning, guys. If you guys felt like you should have gotten a transfer throughout this 31 days of the transfer window being open in the winter transfer window, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you are an Arsenal, Manchester United, West Ham fan, let me know as well how you feel about your team's chances right now, especially as a Manchester United fan, guys. I feel great about our chances, especially with a player like Alexis Sanchez coming to Manchester United. That is it, though, guys. Thank you for listening. I will be back tomorrow with another podcast. Go ahead and subscribe if you do go on to enjoying top soccer news from your boy, Dom Kemp. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.